Hey guys, I'm gonna tell you right now that you're not gonna see my face in this video because I am legit in pajamas doing this at the moment. So, I really wish we could have met in person for this craft event. I think it would have been fun to get everyone else's ideas on patterns and stuff for the beads, but keep fingers crossed that hopefully soon we can meet in groups larger than 5 because it's really difficult to do just 5 people when I have to be there to instruct it, and we were going to have Emily there as well. So essentially it could have only been 3 other people with us. So that's why we switched this over to virtual. Hopefully we don't have to do too many more of these. But let's start off with what you're going to need. You're going to need to grab all of your beads. Go ahead and grab your jute twine, the string that I put in there. I don't have it up here with me, but you will need that. You will need all the supplies I put in your bag, your cup, big cups, small cups, skewers, whatever paint you decided to go with. And then if you have paper plates, that would be ideal. Otherwise, you're going to need something to lay wet beads on while they dry that you don't really care if it gets ruined. I tried to buy you guys paper plates, but the commissary has been just low on supply for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I have very few at my home at the moment. So yeah, grab all the supplies and you can set everything aside except for your beads and your twine for now. So this is essentially what your finished product is going to look like. I like to keep most of my stuff in my house in a neutral palette, so I can use it year round. So I did leave mine like this. However, I am going to paint some more beads. I'm going to make another one myself, but I will show you guys how to paint. Right now, you need to decide how long you want your garland to be. Go ahead and string your beads onto the garland and figure out what pattern you want. So in this one, I did the largest bead. So we can number them as the smallest being bead number 1. Going all the way up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 being the largest bead. Don't mind those. I have a few already painted ones in there. So I used bead number 6 for this. Then I went to bead number 5, and then I went to bead number 2. I dropped that one down pretty small. Yep. 6, 5, and 2 is what I did for this pattern, and I just kept repeating it. But get some string. Do not cut your string yet because you will see in the next video that there's some measurement that has to go on with that. But see how long you want the actual garland to be and figure out the pattern and how many of these beads you actually want to paint, if you want to paint them at all. Or you can wing it like I like to do and just paint a whole bunch of each size, and then your garland's however long it is based on how many beads you painted. So once you made those hard decisions, pattern, colors, because you could do all the big ones one color, mediums another, small, you could leave them plain. You're going to want to grab your paint, make sure it's shaken up, grab a cup, and grab this little cup. Go put a little bit of water in here. I am not going to have any water in this because this paint's actually already watered down from doing this before last year. I had the same paint that I did garland with, so it's already watered down for me. But typically, depending on how many beads you are going to be painting, I say start with less because you can always add more. You're going to put some paint in here. Since your paint is not watered down, you want to take a tiny splash of water and put it in here. And you could even grab your little skewer to mix it up. You could just move it around a little bit, grab a paintbrush, totally up to you. You just need to get that water mixed in just a little bit. Then you're going to grab whichever bead you want that color to be. I'm going to go with the biggest size, the number 6 again. Drop a few in there. I'm just going to make some little small garlands to just sit around the house. So this one's kind of medium. I'm probably going to make one about half this size, so I don't need too many beads. Do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. ahead and grab your little skewer again, and you're going to mix these around. Just roll them around a bit. It looks like I still need a little bit more paint, so like I said, add more. I just splashed paint everywhere. Really get those coated. Okay, once you have all of these mixed up, grab your skewer. For these big ones, the skewer works great because it'll slide right onto it. So just get all of these. You're gonna get a little messy, it'll be okay. Get all of these onto your skewer. If you have a lot of extra paint, really try to get some of that to drip off so it's not so clumpy when it's drying. So I have all these red ones on a skewer. This is where I like to take my paper plate, and you can just sit the skewer right across it for it to dry. I do have some lumpiness, so I'm gonna separate these because I don't want them to dry together. And you can kind of dab some of the lumpy paint off. So depending on how vibrant you want these colors to be, you might have to throw them back in the cup in a few minutes. It doesn't take long for this to dry. Give it like 5 minutes and the paint should be dried. So once again, I'm just dabbing some of the big globs of paint off of it so it's a more smoother finish at the end. So that's that. If you want that rustic look, take this paper towel and really rub the paint off so that you show more of the bead through it. But I want this to be a solid red because I plan on doing that solid red. I did this more rustic green. Drop that one. You can see the beads showing through these. I threw these on a plate lined with paper towels and just like rubbed the paper towels all over them. So I plan on doing this red, this rustic green, and these little tiny white ones that I did. And I plan on putting those three together. Might even throw in some of the natural beads with it too. So yeah, that's how you paint them. Like I said, once it's dry, you can toss this right back into the cup, mix them around again, and do the process again. I did give you 3 of these skewers, so you can do some different colors with it. If you need more than that, they dry pretty fast, and you can just dry them off with a paper towel. If you're going to use stain instead of paint, same process, except you are not going to add water to your stain because that does not work with stain. So you're just going to put a little bit of stain in there, throw the beads in, mix them around. When you pull those out, you do have to wipe those really well with paper towels because you're trying to get the stain to soak into the wood and not just stay on the top of it. Okay, so like I said, the skewer works for the big beads. These little beads, not so much. This one actually does work. This is bead number 3, I believe. Let's see. When we get down to bead 2, it will not go on the skewer. So if you're doing size 2 or 1, you're going to do the same process we just did. You're going to put paint in your cup, throw them in the cup, mix them around. This time you are going to dump them onto a plate with paper towels. So I just take a small piece of paper towel, put it on a plate, mix them around. Make sure you don't have a ton of paint in this cup because you don't want to be pouring all the paint out. So once you mix them around, you're going to dump them onto this paper plate with the paper towel. I just get most of the excess off, then drop it down onto the plate. let them dry on the plate like that. Do move them around every few minutes just so they don't stick to the plate. But if you get most of the globs of paint off, it won't stick to it. That's how you paint the tiny beads, since they will not fit on the skewers. And continue to watch, and I will show you how to actually string the beads and to make these cute little tassels at the end. Keep in mind, you don't have to use the jute twine. It's just what's included in your little kit. This one that I'm going to do, which when I finish it I can post a picture for everybody, I plan to add, I think, some yarn tassels to it. I'm not really sure what color I'm going with yet, but I will try my best to get a picture for you guys. So keep watching. We're gonna get started on our Christmas, or might I just say garland, because you can make it for whatever holiday you want. You're gonna need your spool of jute twine, and we're gonna start with that first. You wanna take this and get about 3 feet of string, and you want 2 of those. So go ahead and cut that off. Do another one. And then set these 2 off to the side. Once again, they're about 3 feet long each, and I just cut 2 of them. We're gonna use those later. So cut those, set them to the side. And up next, I already started this process, so mine's not on the spool, but you're gonna need to take string just straight off of your spool. Don't cut it until you're done wrapping. I wrap around my hand. We're creating the tassel, so this is how long your tassel is gonna be. If you want it longer, you can grab, you could grab anything. You could grab a ruler type thing. You could wrap around that if you wanted it really long. But my hand is a good length, and I am just going to wrap. I start with the string on the bottom, the open end, and I wrap it around like 15 to 20 times, just depending on how thick I want my garland. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I already had mine cut, so went around about 17 times, and you want to end with wherever your open end is that you started with. So I started with an open end on the bottom. You want to end with an open end on the bottom. So once you're done, you just cut it off on the bottom. And you take this off your hand, keep it together, don't let it unravel. It's still together. Both open ends are on the bottom. That one on the, there's the one that I started with. So you're gonna have those. Then you're gonna take your string that is still on the spool, don't cut it off, and you're gonna feed it through the top. Once again, the 2 open ones are on the bottom. I'm feeding through the top of this. And you're gonna pull it through a good like 12 inches. And you are going to actually start wrapping it around here just to create like this thickness at the top. I wrap it around like 8 times. You can wrap it around however many times you want. You can also go to the other side of this string at the top. If that makes any sense, like I can wrap it on this side of it just to make it look a little bit more even. And this is all just for decoration. There's no real purpose in why I'm wrapping this around up here at the top. So that a few times, and then I'm going to tie it off to my string that's still on the spool. Just take it. I'm going to do a double knot. There was 1. And do it one more time. There it is, 2. So you can see, just wrapped and then tied. You're going to leave this attached to the spool. And then you want to grab one of those strings that we had just cut and set to the side, the 3-foot ones. We're going to pull this down. You can either take this little string that was left over that we tied with, and I like to just tuck it down the middle so that it's kind of hidden down there. And then we're going to take this string, our extra, and you're going to tie it, sorry guys, you're going to tie it around here. That's one knot. I'm going to do one more. So I double knotted it around here. We're creating our tassel. You can take this extra string, you can just push it down and act like it's part of the tassel. Then the rest of your string, you're going to use it to just wrap and keep wrapping. Until you have some thickness. And then just, you can tuck it under one of these strings and tie it off. There's no perfect way to do these things. You just kind of make them your own. So find a way to tie it off, or if you really don't want to tie it off, grab your hot glue gun, just put a dab of glue on the back of it, and you're good to go. So I just tied mine like to the string, and now I'm gonna just tuck it under here so it's not, the string's not sticking up looking all crazy. Okay, there it is, where I tied it, and I just tucked it under. Now you're going to grab your scissors, and you are going to put it through every hoop, and you are just going to pull it and cut. And if there's any that are too long, you just trim them up. That is your little tassel to start one end. You can do this with yarn. You could do this with any form of string, really. Really thin string doesn't work too well, so that's why I got you a little bit thicker for the jute. But that is your first tassel. Now you're going to measure out how long you want your actual garland to be. I'm going to make mine go across my TV stand, so it's going to be pretty long. If you want it on a tree, you could make it really long. I mean, you do have a lot of beads in a lot of different sizes to choose from, so pick whatever you would like for length. I'm just going to do a short one to show you guys. So, and then add about 12 extra inches. So if I'm ending my garland here, I'm going to add like 12 extra inches onto it so that we have it to tie off at the bottom, at the end of it. And then you cut that off. All right, guys, we cut our string to the size we wanted it. Like I said, you could do garland for your Christmas tree where it's really long. You could just do a cute little one that you just sit around bowls or lamps. It's very decorative. You could use it anywhere. This is the pattern that I'm going to be doing, and I will show you which beads I'm using to create this pattern. Choose your own pattern. Like I said in the video, when you're coloring them, you have to choose a pattern first to base off of what colors you're going to be doing. I'm not doing any colors. I wanted mine to be just natural, so it matches everything. I can use it year round. I also put in your kits this needle. It's like a jewelry needle. It opens up. I know that's really hard to see on my camera, but it opens up. You just push your string through it a little bit and then use this to string through. It doesn't matter if you got a short or a long one. We're not using it to actually make jewelry, so as long as it fits through the bead itself, you're good. So I'm going to start off with, I'm going to label all of our beads. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sizes, so one's going to be the smallest, just so y'all know what bead I'm talking about. I lined mine up by size. Oh, I'm dropping all of them. So one's going to be the smallest size, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 being the largest. So I'm starting out with number 6. So I'm going 6, then to bead number 5, and then all the way down to 2. And that is what's creating this look. 6, 5, and 2. I'm gonna go all the way across mine, all the way down until I have about 12 inches left, because we need to save that to be able to tie it off. And then I will be back once I'm there. All right, I have about 10 to 12 inches left on this string, and this is what my garland looks like right now. We are going to take this needle off and create another tassel. Do the same thing, wrap it around your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whoop, 15, 16, 17. I think I did about 17 last time. Cut it off where it's both open ends are on the same side. Take it off your hands, keeping it together. Now we are going to use the string, our actual garland, the string is attached to our garland. You're going to take it through the top, bring it all the way to the edge. I do not like to leave any like give in these, or not a lot, like obviously a little bit, but if you leave a lot and you go to store them, they tangle up. So if you keep them tighter together, meaning not a lot of string showing in between here, keep them tighter, they won't tangle up as much. Just a tip. Okay, so now we are going to have it just went straight through here. We are going to tie it off to it. So using it just a regular old knot, nothing special. I'm going to try to get it pretty close. You can always adjust that by loosening one side of your knot, pulling it closer to it. I think that's pretty close. That's just one knot, so let's actually wrap this like we did before. We wrap around the top. Remember, you can go on the other side of this line too. So I wrap some on this side. Now I'm going to wrap some on this side. This is really hard to do and show. Here we go. So I wrapped it on the right side. Now I moved it over to this left side. I'm going to wrap it around some. Okay, and now I'm going to double knot, tie it off by tying it to the string that the garland is attached to. So I just knotted it once to here. I'm going to knot it once more. Okay, so that's 2 knots. And just push it down to the side. Grab your other 3-foot piece of string and do the same thing we did to the beginning, where we tie it onto it. Did 1 knot. I'm going to do another knot. Just knotted it twice, kind of make it the same. Try to make it look the same as this one. Now you're just going to tuck this string down, the one that you knotted with, so it's down there, and start wrapping around. Once again, find a place to tie it off. If you don't want to tie it off, grab your glue gun, put some glue, push it down, hold it for a little while, it'll stay. I'm going to tie mine off. Let me find a good string to do this too. I tie it off by tucking it under one of the strings and just creating a knot. Okay, now grab your scissors once more, put it through all the loops, pull up, cut, and then cut any other strings that need to be the same length. If you have any of these crazy strings sticking out like I do, just find one of these middle ones to tuck it under and push it to where it's going with the tassel at the bottom. So I just tucked it through that string and now it's going straight down. And that is it, guys. We have our garland with our tassels at the bottom. You can also make more of these little tassels if you want. Add them every few beads and it'd be really cute as well. Happy crafting!